Independence Hall and Congress Hall is really a very powerful place for me. That is where our nation started. That is where we can actually go and get motivated. That's where we can see where the Founding Fathers stood and what they did. Thanks to the Rangers and all the different guys there, that place has been kept and protected over the past couple hundred years. It's a fantastic place, and I really would recommend that every American go there at some point in their life.
Well, welcome, guys. This is my favorite room in all of history. Of all the great places we've got to travel across the country and see and the great things that have happened in our nation's history, this is my favorite. So much happened in this room.
As much as we can tell our kids the stories, nothing compares to actually being here, seeing the locations, and watching literally history come alive right before you.
So now get this picture. Ben Franklin, the elder statesman, he gets up and he reminds them. He says, in the beginning of the contest with Great Britain, when we were sensible of danger, we had daily prayer in this room for divine protection. Why? Because they're taking on the greatest military on the planet. They knew they could not win without divine providence. And so this man that's supposedly the least religious of the Founding Fathers, he reminds those guys. He says, our prayers were heard and they were graciously answered. All of us engaged in the struggle must observe frequent instances of a superintending providence in our favor. Have we now forgotten this powerful friend? I therefore beg leave to move that henceforth prayers imploring the assistance of heaven and His blessing on our deliberation be held in this assembly just once and in private, because if the ACLU finds out, they might sue us. That's not what he said, right? He said every morning before we proceed to business, and that's our supposed least religious Founding Father. Remember what he said? Have we now forgotten this powerful friend? He had to remind them of that. I think sometimes we need to be reminded of that. Gary reminded me of that this afternoon. I was saying, Gary, I don't know if we're going to be able to get into Independence Hall, bro. I don't know what's going to happen. These guys are doing everything they can to get us in there, but they just were able to get back to work. And he said, Rick, hey, you forget Ben Franklin, man. You forget divine providence. God's going to take care of us.
I don't always get to have all the kids with me at a speaking engagement, but when I do, I love it when they start off the presentation, and I think the audience likes it better too.
When Gary introduced my dad, he said, Rick Green is a great speaker, but you know who else is better, actually? Is Rhett Green. So he introduced me.
Welcome, Rhett Green. Are you bringing the whole crew? All right, you got them all? I'll let you tell them.
Well, guys, welcome to Congress Hall. My name's Rhett Green, this is my brother Reagan and my sister Cameron.
Well, it's one thing for people to hear about history from someone my age, but when a 10-year-old steps up on the stage and starts talking about what happened in 1776 or about the signers and the sacrifice that they made, it just changes everything. People suddenly pay attention.
Now, we might let our dad speak a little bit later tonight, but we're gonna get things started.
The preamble to the U.S. Constitution was written by Gouverneur Morris, and it describes what the Founding Fathers wanted to accomplish for the new republic. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
So we don't do it to showcase our kids or just to put them on stage just to have fun. There is a purpose behind it. Later, people will come up and say, watching your kids had such an impact on me. And then they take it back to their kids and they say, we want our kids to learn that. And that is the ultimate goal, is for other families to be inspired, to go home and teach their own children this and set the bars and tell their kids, you can recite the Declaration. You can learn this history.
In just 56 words, the Founding Fathers basically sum up the foundation of America. We're gonna give you those 56 words and then we're gonna explain them. Here's what they are. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
In the words of the Declaration, there are 4 basic principles that make up the frame of America. First, the Founding Fathers began with the basic idea that truth is real. It is obvious and it does not change.
A lot of people think that we're just memorizing history all day. Well, maybe between an episode of Psych and going to play baseball and just having fun, They don't actually spend that much time on history. They're just like any other kids, you know, but this is sort of one of their hobbies, I guess. It's like playing a sport or playing an instrument. They have found that this is a way that they can use their voice to impact the world around them.
To learn more about the Constitution and the history that took place right here in these buildings, please welcome our dad, Rick Green.
Well done, well done.
Watching the kids and Rick speak is amazing. I love it. You'd think after all these years that it would get old and mundane, but actually every time they speak, it's like watching it all for the first time.
We've heard it like a bunch of times. It's almost like we know all the concept, like all the meanings and stuff.
Really? So you know all the answers to the questions?
Kind of.
How many signers were on the Constitution?
56.
That's a declaration.
That's a declaration.
39, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Looks like you need to pay more attention.
Yeah.
If there's any group that appreciates the underlying principles of the Constitution, it's typically business owners because they appreciate free enterprise and the protections that the Constitution provides for all of our personal liberties. So this was a great opportunity. These business leaders actually sat there through 4 hours of teaching. So we were teaching them a lot of in-depth things about the Constitution. They really enjoyed it. They learned a lot, but they were ready for something very special by the end of the evening.
Each and every one of them was willing to get up, come forward, take that pen, dip it in the ink, and sign beneath that amazing final sentence. It says, in support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
And they did not just pledge their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, they gave their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor.
9 of them did not even survive to see the freedom they secured for us.
Many of them lost every penny that they had, some even dying in debtor's prison because they gave everything for the cause of freedom.
I would ask you tonight, if you had been in this room, if you had been next door in Independence Hall when that happened, if your name was called forward, would you be willing to get up and come forward, to take that pen and dip it in the ink?
We're gonna give you guys an opportunity tonight to do exactly that. But I'm not talking about some ceremonial moment where you take a picture, post it on Facebook, and feel good about it. You have to follow through, just like the Founding Fathers did. I could tell that it was dawning on people the importance of knowing what the Founding Fathers did and what they gave up.
Are you willing to give of yourself, give of your life? Is it worth your life, your fortune, and your sacred honor?
It was absolutely one of the most emotional things I've ever experienced. It was powerful.
And I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was definitely one of my favorite memories of my entire life, and I'll remember it forever.
It just gives me goosebumps to think about it, because we will continue to fight for freedom. We want the America that we came to stay the way it is so my children and their children have a better future.
Just witnessing that and signing it with my parents, realizing that we're doing something together as a family that can actually impact generations.
Just having it become real when you picked up a pen and began to sign your name there. It was a life change. It was amazing what it did.
And you guys, you give me hope for our nation. So thank you for being here. Thank you for believing freedom's worth the fight. Larry, thank you. Let's go see the Liberty Bell so I don't become a total sap. God bless you guys.
This morning started off very chaotic. We didn't know how it was going to end. There was a lot of things that were up in the air. And we came together, the family came together, and it was a good day for the Green family.